I say so because a meter can be disconnected if communication is not relayed to your offices. Your officers can now come and say that, well, I'll reconnect at a fee and the money will not come to you. So are you able to gather that information? Is it possible?
Mr. Chairman, we have a register in which any disconnection that takes place, we register. And when we reconnect, we also do. And this is made available to the commercial secretariat. So
no, I'm not talking about the register. The register and everything is manually entered into. I'm saying that, for instance, I have a meter in my house. When you disconnect me today, are you able to tell from your end? So if your officers come to my house and disconnect my water, can you tell from your end? Just like ECG, when the disconnection is done, probably maybe they are able to tell. Is it possible?
Yeah, some of the meters that we are installing, the smart meters, has the ability to communicate that feedback to us. Yeah.
Thank you. Auditors, please kindly take a copy of the letter. Right. Thank you, Chairman. That will be all for me.
Your next infraction is paragraph 2433, underutilization of available resources at the Central West Shop. According to the auditors, Ghana Water Company has a Central West Shop which is responsible for repairs and maintenance of motors and high lift pumps, to produce the required quantity of saddles and the flanges needed for the regions for their operations. According to the auditors, the Central West Shop produces about 5% of saddles and flanges that you need, and the remaining 95% are purchased from outside, which mostly costs the company as compared to producing it internally. And it produced in large quantities. Have we taken action on this?
Honorable Chair, we've taken action on it. And the management wrote to all the regions to start giving the workshops jobs. So the million to 40 million. So we've started doing that. And there are jobs that we've even given them, which we have shown in our attachments, our documents that we have presented. Honorable Chair.
So before the audit recommendation, what was it?
It's because the equipment there were overaged and the cost of operations were very high. So it was not economical to use them.
But have you now given them new equipment?
Yeah, we started retooling, and so it's now efficient to use them to produce.
Okay. Auditors, can you confirm that the workshops are now working and producing the saddles and the other things that they need?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm an amount of 40,558,055 Ghana cedis from the Central West Shop as a budget line to purchase equipment in 2024 budget.
But you can confirm that the workshop is working?
Honorable Chair, we've not visited we are here to do that.
Okay. Kindly do that and then let us know if truly the Central Workshop is now working.
Well noted, Chairman.
Paragraph 2441, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. Ghana Water, you have unsupported payment to a tune of 626,394 Ghana cedis. Are you able to get the relevant receipts to these transactions?
Mr. Chairman, yes. You know, these are casual jobs that are done when we are doing excavations on the ground. And most of the time, when you are in the district, you want to use some of the indigenes there so that you can, generate income or jobs for the people there. So these were done at those various places. But now we've gotten them to signed off and then even written their telephone numbers.
Have you made the documents available to the auditors?
Yes.
Auditors, can you verify this information?
Honorable Chair, they've supported him now.
Chairman, thank you. I yield to you.
All right, your next one is paragraph 2446. It's on inadequate storage facilities, into bracket, bottling unit. The auditors have noted that during the inspection, both raw materials and finished goods were stored in the production area. They also noted that production of sachet water, they are recommending that management should implement measures to address the storage challenge of the unit to increase revenue generation. Did you take any action on this recommendation?
Honorable Chair, we've taken action. We bought one number 40-footer storage container to cater for the storage. We've also additionally relocated the pressure air compressor, which has taken a lot of space on the factory floor, also outside, and created a new, house for it. And in addition, our Akmon Headworks has some storage facility. And Honorable Chair, we have used 2 of their stores to house or to store some of our materials, the raw materials for the bottling plant. Honorable Chair.
Auditors, can you confirm this?
Honorable Chair, the relocation of air compressor and laying of new cables at Gene Water Bottling Plant at Mon has been completed. They've also made available 6-footer containers for storage of materials and finished products.
All right. Your next infraction in paragraph 2452 is on cash and checks not banked. The auditors have disclosed during audit that Ghana Water Company Limited and GCB had an agreement which authorized GCB's cash collection agent to receive and deposit Ghana Water Company's cash or checks to the company's account at GCB. They noted that the cash collection agent, Delta Security Limited, collected cash and checks amounting to 76,000. They also noted that on 7 December 2021, GCB came out with an installment plan on credit Ghana Water Company's account with an unbanked amount. On 9 December 2021, GCB credited Ghana Water Company account with 10,000 with check number, which is quoted here, bringing the unbanked cash and check amount to as at 31st December 2021. So the total uncredited cash is 37,119 and uncredited checks 1,414.46. The recommendation is that management should recover the amount and provide evidence for audit verification.
Recovered the cash amount totaling the 37,119. For the checks, around 42.34. But the rest, because the check has gone stale, we are making attempt or taking steps to debit the customers again to save the situation.
To issue a new check.
Normally, when checks become stale, we impress it upon the customer to pay cash. That's what we do, because we feel, but in this case, the customer that belongs to the commercial bank came for the money, the cash, and then the check, and then they failed to pay to the bank. So the commercial bank restored us by paying the cash, and then the checks, 2 of the checks were credited to our account, and the rest we are taking the step to debit the customer again.
Do still does the company still have the agreement with the GCB? This arrangement, is it still in place?
Yeah, but this time.
Okay. Auditors, can you confirm the deposit of 37,119 and then deposit of the 2 other checks?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, we can confirm the deposit of 37,119 for the cash. For the checks, as at June 30th, 2024, only 1 out of the 3 customers which was indebted to the company to the tune of 655.06. We also verified the payment from the statement of account from 3 affected customers with the company from 2020 to June 2024.
You actually haven't answered my question. According to Ghana Water Company, they have credited 2 checks,
Yes.
which total amount to 1,000? 1,700 plus.
Yes.
I just wanted to confirm if it is true that 2 checks amounting to 1,700 plus have been debited to the company account. That's all.
Honorable Chair, that one we are here to confirm.
Okay, sorry, credited, not debited. All right, so
Honorable Chair,
Yeah.
we have the bank statement depicting the 2 checks that were.
okay, so you show it to the auditors for verify. But
Page 50,
there is
50.
somebody is bringing an interesting twist to the whole thing. GCB has the delay in crediting has come from GCB. Would they pay interest? The agreement you have, if anything of this nature happens, are they supposed to pay interest? Because the value at the time will not be the same if finally the money is paid.
Chair, yes, this new contract that we have signed, or the contract that we have renewed with them, we have inserted those clauses that anytime there is that delay, we shall levy interest using the rate prevailing at the time.
But for this one, there wasn't any clause like that.
There wasn't any clause like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paragraph 2459, Honorable Frida.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This has to do with bank interest capitalization described as bank charges, Accra East. And Mr. Chairman, bank interest capitalization is the addition of unpaid interest to the principal balance of a loan. The principal balance of a loan increases when payments are postponed during periods of deferment or forbearance, and unpaid interest is capitalized. The auditors disclosed that the Accra 89 was debited with a total amount of 70,955,000.74 cedis, which was described by the bank as bank interest capitalization. However, the auditors noted that the company treated the amount as bank charges in the monthly reconciliation statements without obtaining the reasons for these huge charges. The table below, table 374, has the details. In February, they debited an amount of 23,878.59. It was described as bank interest capitalized, whereas Accra East described it as bank charges. And 1st February, same thing happened. The bank described it as bank interest capitalization, whereas Accra Age the bank immediately to understand the nature of the transactions and record them appropriately. And in the management's response, we've noted that they've already engaged the bank verbally and also followed up with a letter. So what is the current situation now? Have we been able to resolve the issue with the bank?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, yes, we've been able to resolve the issue. The bank has actually acknowledged receipt that it was wrongfully debited to our account. So they are making attempts to reverse those transactions. And I believe we'll ask them to maybe pay interest on the delay in the crediting of our account, Honorable Chair. So a copy of their email acknowledging the error is stated in our appendix. Yeah.
Have you given a copy to the auditors? Auditors, can you confirm?
Honorable Chair, on July 2024, the bank accepted the wrong bank charges and promised to do the reversal, but as at now, they've not done it. But the bank have accepted that they will do it.
Chairman, the bank has accepted that they will reverse it, but they've not done it yet. So I yield it to you. They've made the effort to reconcile with the bank. Thank you.
All right. Let's take the last one. Paragraph 2465. Leakages at Peve Headworks and deplorable condition of building, housing, chemicals, and workers at Bonsa Headworks. So this infraction is already ensure that the leakages are resolved by the appropriate department at Peve. They also recommended that management at Bonsa should liaise with the head office to take urgent and appropriate steps to restore the building into good condition. What action has the company take on this?
Mr. Chairman, top management set up a committee to go and assess the situation. These are structural defects that have developed in the building because of age. For the Peve one, it was be considered under the whole water expansion project. That has delayed. So a suggestion, an estimate has been brought to top management for temporary roofing over the building so that the rainwater will not go into the building. And for Bonsa, the structure, the building has collapsed more or less. It's no more usable. And so the chemicals have been moved into another storage area. But the Bonsa one is to be considered under Takwa water project. And that one has attained, but for temporary, we are storing the chemicals in a different location. Honorable Chair.
Can the auditors confirm if they are finding solution to this problem?
Honorable Chair, the recommendation is still ongoing, but for Peve, we can say that a letter was written on the 9th of May 2024 to the...
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We'll do that.
So that'll be all for Ghana Water Company. But Honorable Roxon want to ask public constituency interest question.
And a public interest question. Chairman, I just returned from Peve, and the chiefs are worried about the non-availability of a reservoir in Peve itself, so that when there are problems with pumping, the community is completely deprived. So if you recall, last year I put in this request whether Ghana Water will consider building a reservoir, because there's no reservoir in the community itself. Even though they house the pumping station, they don't have any reservoir. And so anytime there's a difficulty in pumping, the communities, they struggle with water supply.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, that decision is to be taken under the proposed whole expansion project. When we did the whole project at first, the Pewe community was very small, so the reservoir was sited at Bami. So from Bami, Pewe goes to Bami, then to Ho. But under the new whole expansion project, the community has expanded, so consideration.
It's now my district capital, so it's big.
Well noted, sir.
Thank you.
Honorable Jifa.
Thank you very much for your kindness, Chairman. I'd like to know what the status report is on the Qatar expansion, because I wrote a couple of letters to you, and we've spoken about Ketu South's need for potable water. What we heard is that you are planning to extend it to us. What are the timelines? What is the status? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, the Kecha project is ongoing. It has some challenges with funding, but now it's about 65% through. But Honorable, your area will be under the second phase of the project, but now the first phase is about 65%.
I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Any public interest question again? Honorable Kisi.
Chairman, may you live long, as everybody says. Please, I'm within Greater Accra region, one of the most important regions in the country. I live in Anya Sotom, and some areas of ours, Olebu, Agape, Fan Milk, Ablekuma, do not have water in all the houses. There was a World Bank program that helped some of us. What efforts are being made to help the rest of the residents in those enclaves to get water?
Okay, Honorable Chairman, thank you for the question. Accra, we are still not meeting demand. There's a gap between production and demand, about 30 million. So we are rationing supply now. And we had a challenge at Wija because one of the motors went off. We took it outside to rewind it. It's back. So this week we'll couple it and we'll increase production. But the deficit is still there. But
So that'll be all for Ghana Water Company. You are discharged.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you.
Let's have a Minister of Youth and Sports, National Sports Authority, and National Youth Authority. National Sports Authority and National Youth Authority. Well, if the minister is not in yet, then you have to go back. I'll take control and accountant general. When I finish with them, then so let's have control and accountant general.
So call the phone.
Please,
Name of the Almighty God.
that the evidence I shall give before this committee,
That the evidence I shall give before this committee,
touching the matter in issue,
touching the matter in issue,
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much for coming. Kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Kwesi Eje, the Acting Controller and Accountant General.
Mr. Chairman, Idodekon Abuatin, Deputy Controller for Financial Management Services.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Sylvester Akwa, Acting Deputy Controller and Accountant General of Payroll Management.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Mark Effort Adade, Assistant Controller and Accountant General in charge of the national accounts.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Wisdom Komla Mesan, Deputy Controller and Accountant General, Audit and Investigation.
Thank you very much for coming. We'll first take your issues raised in the MDA reports, page 48, paragraph 137. The first one will be taken by Honorable Akwesi Konedu, paragraph 137, MDA report.
8,565 to a retired prison service officer. He was a senior chief officer. So on the 1st of October 2016, they paid him 97,138 instead of 48,565 Ghana cedis, 47 pesos. The auditors have recommended that this amount be recovered from Mr. Aglo and paid into the Auditor General's recovery account at the Bank of Ghana, failing which the Chief Treasury Officer must pay this amount. Has the amount been recovered?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
The full amount, when was it recovered?
The full amount. It was deducted from his commuted pension. He's deceased.
He's deceased?
Yes. So the amount was withheld from his commuted pension, and the balance was paid to his family.
But when was he deceased?
Let me check. When was it? I think it was deceased in 2020.
The man was deceased in 2020?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And the amount was paid in 2016?
No, when his commuted pension was being computed, then the 48,000 was withheld from his commuted pension.
Okay.
So
but has the amount been recovered?
The auditors were expecting that the money would have been paid into the audit recovery account, but this one was withheld from his committed pension, and we have evidence to show that it has been done.
Auditors, can you confirm that that has been done?
Honorable Chair, that has been done. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the amount has been recovered.
All right, so next one, paragraph 142, Honorable Kisi.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with a media release dated January 13th, 2023, with regards to pensioners who had not been paid. I think the ranges are people who are receiving monthly payments of less than 100 Ghana cedis. You provided some explanations. I'd like to know if you still hold by that, and if so, Audit Service, can you affirm if that is in writing?
Mr. Chairman, those pensioners who receive pensions less than 100 cedis are in total of 5,583. And basically, the issue was with the verification of their Ghana card. We started an exercise to verify Ghana card holders, pensioners, so that we determine whether they are alive or have passed on. And that exercise, as of the 5,583, we have been able to verify 535. And for some institutions, like Open Service Authority, when it was abolished, their data can never be traced. And so it's only when we are able to determine the authenticity that we can pay anything about that.
This is something I will not be too happy with. What's your data on that company? Because since you're receiving contributions from the company, this is quite serious. I won't take that.
Mr. Chairman, Omnibus Service Authority is no longer in existence.
What I'm saying is that you were taking pension money from them over a number of years as a SNIT.
Thank you.
Audit Service, can we affirm if these are well documented?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm that as of July 2023, 535 records has been properly adjusted. Thank you.
So, in concluding, those who are dead, what other ways can you confirm?
If their relations, right ways, or maybe the institutions that are still as the right ways that those officers have passed on, we update our records accordingly. For those who may not be members of pension associations or do not get in touch with the institutions, it's only when we're able to clarify with the Ghana card that we can go on. Thank you.
Chairman, that'll be it. Thank you.
Paragraph 146, Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Chairman. Paragraph 146. Your infraction here has to do with outstanding rate, which amounted to 36,720. I think about 10 staffs of Controller and Accountant General Department in Kumasi defaulted in payment of 36,720 between 12 to 24 months. Have you recovered this amount?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Chairman, we haven't. Actually, the structure they are talking about is a depallidated structure. It's not a structure that is habitable, and some of them they are all considered as squatters. You know, when people are transferred to other places, for instance, Kumasi, as they are saying, it was an accommodation that was officially allocated to them. I think they went to the premises and saw that it belongs to the department. And it's a structure that we want to pull down as we are speaking now. we want to eject them and then redevelop it. So it's not a structure that we can even ask them to pay rent. Some of them they are squatters anyway. They are not officially being asked to occupy those properties. Yeah.
So the names that are here, the 10 names, Elizabeth Hammond, IVAJ, Grace Opari, they are all not staffs. Is that so?
No, even though I use the word squatter, doesn't mean that, Mr. Chairman, we don't know them. We know them, but they are not. It's not a structure where we ask them to officially be accommodated in. So it's not something that we've officially been allocated to them and ask them to pay rent. As I say, they are there as our staff, all right, but it's not an official residence for them. And it's a structure that we want to pull down as we speak now.
Do they pay bills? Do they pay light bills and water bills?
Mr. Chairman, for that, I wouldn't know. But then this audit was done by an audit team in Kumasi, and when the observation were raised, the regional director there, his response was that they were going to ask them to pay rent. But then upon further investigation, we asked our team to visit the premises and we realized that it's not a place that we can even ask them to pay rent. So we are asking them to leave and then we'll put down the structure. Thank you.
So have they moved or they are still in?
We're giving them time to do that. We are trying, because of course they are our staff, we are trying to attach some human face and give them time to move. Thank you.
Chairman, I think I'll yield you.
Auditors, the Controller and Accountant General is saying that that accommodation is not an official or anything allocated by the department to them. So there is no need for them to pay rent. Have you visited the accommodation? And when you visited, is it a place that rent must be charged?
Honorable Chair, yes, we visited the Staff Development Center, and in fact, the place is not a good place for you to say they should pay rent. So a follow-up, I think we agree with the Controller.
So you citing them for this is a mistake on your part?
Honorable Chair, please, it wasn't a mistake. Initially, once anybody is occupying the government burden, the person is required to pay something.
I just asked you a question. You say it's not a place that they should charge rent. So is it an error on your part to say they should pay the rent? Simple. If you say it's not an error, then it means that what you have cited in the report should still hold. So you should demand the money from them.
Honorable Chair, what I'm saying is that a follow-up shows that the center is actually in a dilapidated state, but notwithstanding, once they are occupying the place, they should pay something small. Thank you.
Okay, I won't push you further. Honorable Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I leave it as to where it is.
All right, thank you. So that will be all for the MDA report. Let's now go to the report of the Auditor General on the Public Accounts of Ghana, whole of government account. Whole of government account. So we'll go to the findings of the Auditor General and the recommendations. The first one is paragraph 28 of the report, page 10. Discrepancies in domestic debt figure reported 341.037 billion. The auditors have noted that a total amount of 696.436 billion was recognized as short-term and long-term loan and financing for domestic borrowing in the statement of financial position, while Schedule 15 recorded an amount of 355.399 billion, including state-owned enterprises figures. This is an overstatement of 341.037 billion in the domestic borrowing figure reported in the statement of financial position. They provided details there. I have listened to or read the response from the Controller and Accountant General that the CAG has taken note of the observation and wishes to state that the difference of 98.905 billion is domestic debt for SOEs, which was not included in the domestic debt schedule. The schedule has been updated accordingly to take account of the omission. Then the audit position. Our verification of the adjusted schedule submitted to us revealed an overstatement of 341.037 billion Ghana cedis for domestic debt reported. We reiterated our recommendation for implementation. But I have looked at this and I went to the schedules and I realized that the figure quoted in the response by CAG is also wrong, and the position of the audit is also wrong. In actual fact, the figure of 696.436 billion that you have quoted as a short-term and long-term loan covers both domestic and foreign debt. So the figure is correct. The figure you quoted in the account is correct. So we will not take the recommendation of the auditor. Auditors have also made a little error there. So we will not ask you a question on that. We will move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's go to the next one, ranking, paragraph 34.
Are supposed to carry out actuarial studies and estimates to ensure yourself and the public that if pensioners' money fall due, you'll be able to pay currently and in the future. The auditors noted that that the only reliable data provided by CAG was historical payments of all benefits from 2014 to 2023. That CAG provided some data on some members and their respective ages with their corresponding average salaries. That the data did not include details of those from the other sectors, such as the police and the military, who also receive Cap 30 benefits. That the data, therefore, is incomplete and could not be used for the projections. The recommendations is that you should ensure that the data from all relevant sectors, including the police and the military, is collected and included in future actuarial reports. That you should provide comprehensive data on all members, including their ages, salaries, and relevant details to improve the accuracy of the actuarial projections. You should implement the system for regular update of the data to capture any changes in membership information or benefit payments. And finally, you should improve communication between the actuary and other stakeholders to ensure that all necessary information. So, and
the extensive recommendations that have been made, have you been able to implement them?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is in connection with IPSAS 39. And, Mr. Chairman, with the adoption of IPSAS in 2022, we made a disclosure in the account on employee benefit. In 2023, we've tried to incorporate the figures into the accounts. The issue is that we did it for the mechanized, those on the mechanized payroll, which is true. And we have written to the other stakeholders. We are engaging the police and the military to get their figures. And then, Mr. Chairman, in 2024 financial statements, those figures will be incorporated into the accounts. It is true that we did it for just those on the mechanized payroll. But as I said, this was adoption. We take time. We need to take time to get to where we want to get to. And as I said, 2022, we made a disclosure. And 2023, we've incorporated that into the accounts. Going forward, we'll capture all those stakeholders, and then we'll provide a comprehensive figure in the financial and when it comes. Thank you.
Okay. Can you assure Ghanaians that as we are going forward, are you able to assure us that we'll be able to receive our pensions as and when they fall due?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, yes. We are for pension. I don't think showing, because even with that, before adoption of IPSAS, we were still paying pensions regularly. The standard as that disclosure should be made that will aid financial planning. Therefore, policymakers to know that in the year and the foreseeable future, this is how much that the government should provide for. But as I said, before the adoption, pension payments have not delayed. We'll continue to pay. Whether we IPSAS or no IPSAS, the payments will continue and they will not affect pensioners. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm asking this question because it has been in the news that ILO or somebody like that has said that in 12 years' time, we will not be able to. It's not the case.
Mr. Chairman, I think that information will make sure that as and when they fall due, payment will be effected. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Well, this is a very important observation by the Auditor General, because you talk about the reliability of post-employment benefit figure that you reported on. And according to the auditor, the ISAS 39 gave some processes that you follow to arrive at that figure. You don't just put any figure there. Then that is why the auditors are recommending that the Controller and Accountant General should ensure that data from all relevant sectors, including the police and the military, is collected and included in the future actuarial reports. So if you have an actuarial report that does not include this information from this sector, it will not be a correct figure. Now, they're also saying that the Controller and Accountant General should provide comprehensive data on all members, including their ages, salaries, and other relevant details to improve the accuracy of the actuarial projections. Now, he's talking about ages and salary levels of all members. The members here, I think, are referring to all those people on government payroll, isn't it?
Yes. Cap 30, yes.
Cap 30 and everybody.
Yeah.
What is the number involved here now? It's a huge number. What is the total?
Mr. Chairman, about 67,000.
About 67,000?
Yes.
For those on the Cap 30?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So if you add it to those on the mechanized payroll, everybody, to add up to how much? Total on government payroll.
Mr. Chairman, about 700,000.
About 700,000. So that's the total number of workers on government payroll. That's the total number of people that government are paying, the total government employees.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, 700,000.
700,000, okay.
7? Okay, 700 for active and then 60 for pensioners. So, yes, thank you.
So, let's even make it to maybe 800. But actually, it's be 700 plus 64,000, so 764. So, it's nothing about 800,000. All right. No, we'll move to the next one. All right, let's move on to paragraph 41. Paragraph 41 talk about legitimacy of budget reallocation. Now, Section 29 of the Public Financial Management Act states that subject to any limitation that Parliament may impose, the minister here, Minister of Finance, reallocate funds that have been allocated to a covered entity to another covered entity specified in the annual budget in the event where the functions of that covered entity. So during the review of the budget performance, the auditors noted that the Controller Accountant General presented the approved budget as an additional statement indicating reallocations between certain expenditure lines totaling 16.1 billion. However, the request by the Auditor General to the Controller Accountant General for the correspondence and document from the Minister of Finance to legitimize the reallocation was unsuccessful. The unauthorized budget reallocation could lead to the following. When the budget reallocation are not properly documented and approved, it undermines the transparency of the financial management process. Stakeholders may lose trust in the accuracy and integrity of the financial reports. 2, without proper authorization, it becomes difficult to hold individuals accountable for financial positions. This can lead to mismanagement and misuse of public funds. And 3, unauthorized reallocation can distort the original budget plan, leading to potential shortfalls in essential areas and overspending in others. This misalignment can affect the effectiveness of government programs and services. We urge the Controller Accountant General to ensure that budget reallocations are properly documented and approved by the Minister of Finance. This document should be readily available for review to maintain transparency and accountability in budget management. But you actually don't determine or don't need any approval from the Finance Minister for that. You are to pay. You are the accountant for government. So the Finance Minister will give you, have done reallocation, and you will comply with that. Section 29 of the PFMA, it talks about if the functions of a covered entity have been transferred to another covered entity. Now, those reallocations that the Minister of Finance did were the functions of the original covered entity transferred to those other functions before the reallocation were done. That is what the problem is. So I don't see any problem coming from Ministry of Controller and Accountant General, but the problem is coming from the Ministry of Finance. Controller and Accountant General is only to implement or pay, to direct this to the Ministry of Finance. Why are they doing this reallocation where the functions of the original covered entity are not transferred to those other entities where they are getting the money to? That is what the problem is. So I've looked at the response from the Controller and Accountant General. I think it's in order. But yes, Controller and Accountant General.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the reallocation is from the special vote. It's one entity to another. No. And then what we told the editor was the fact that all these reallocation were approved on gift miss. They were done on gift miss. So in effect, there was an approval because by the Ministry of Finance, because we have the approval hierarchy. So once it has been done on gift miss, it means the ministry has approved those reallocations. But I think what they wanted to see was either a letter or a memo, and that the Ministry of Finance wouldn't write to us. If they've done it on gift miss, they won't write to us indicating that we've done this reallocation. So we asked them, they can just test it on gift miss and they can actually identify the approval hierarchy when it was initiated and who finally approved the reallocation. So that is our point. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you. Your answer, I read it, is perfect. But I'm saying that if you allocate funds that have been allocated to a covered entity, to another covered entity specified in the annual budget, in the event where the functions of that covered entity are transferred to another covered entity. That is what they quoted. So the Minister of Finance, in approving that, money should be reallocated from Ministry of Health to Ministry of Agric, there are some functions that have been transferred from Ministry of Health to Ministry of Agric. That should be the basis upon which the Minister of Finance can do reallocation, not Controller Accountant General.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, yes, the section of the PFM quoted was right, and the position was not in relation to the law as quoted by the auditors. We have provided reallocation reports in the account, and we drew the auditors' attention. They saw it. It's not from one entity. The reallocation was not from an entity to the other entity to require parliamentary approval. The law was rightly quoted, but the actual situation was not an inter-entity reallocation. It was within budget reallocation that they needed a report to verify, which we have already provided, and also evidence of approval on the gift miss as indicated.
On that note, the auditors quoted wrong law to back the argument. Auditors, you have quoted a wrong law, because according to the Controller and Accountant General, the allocation was not from one entity to another entity. It is within one entity, maybe from item to the other item. Let's move to paragraph 47. Non-compliance with the requirement of IFSA 16 is about in land or building or part of a building or both held to earn rentals or for capital appreciation or both, rather than the use of the property, the use in production of or supply of goods for administrative purposes, the sale of the machinery, the sale of the ordinary course of operations. So that have been defined, and the auditors are saying that CAGD did not provide full disclosure in the notes to meet the requirement of IPSA 16, as stated in paragraph 66 of the standard. Non-disclosure of requirement of this lack of transparency may hinder stakeholders' ability to assess the government financial position accurately. PPE should be accurately documented and reflected in the PPE schedule. Implementing a robust tracking system will help ensure all transfers is accurately recognized in the Statement of Financial Performance. Implementing a systematic approach to revenue recognition will help provide a more accurate financial picture. And C, they also urge CAG should fully disclose its compliance with IPSA's requirements in a financial statement. This level of disclosure will enhance transparency, improve stakeholder confidence, and facilitate better decision making. The CAG has also provided response. They are wrongly classified as investment property by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Subsequent receipt of dividend amounting to 1.047 billion was also incorrectly credited to investment property. 266.1 million is attributable to investment property building. The auditors, upon verification of the adjusted account submitted to us, we noted additions and transfer from investment property of 289.4 million and 550.17 million, respectively, without adequate disclosure notes in the account. We maintain our recommendation for implementation. CAG, the auditors have maintained their position that no adequate disclosure has been made in account.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, this is one of the accounting issues that we are even working with the auditors to make sure we improve. Yeah, what we do, Mr. Chairman, on the national account, we consolidate data provided by the entities. We also validate. But sometimes certain issues may escape your attention at the national account level when we are consolidating. So this was one of the issues after audit we've taken note of, and we've corrected the account. So once the issues are raised by auditors, we also use the opportunity to investigate. If we have to go to the entity level, we do. And when we did the first correction, the auditors came and they've also discovered something in addition. But account 2 has a timeline for submission. So we have taken note of this in the subsequent accounts, like 2024 accounts. Some of these things, we will address them. Those that were supposed to be addressed in 2023, we'll still pass them as prior year adjustment in the 2024 accounts, because the auditors are also helping us improve the quality of the accounts. So, Mr. Chairman, that's what we would like to say at this point.
I mean, there's an issue on the prior year adjustment that if you do the prior year adjustment, you actually don't give explanation. The lines that have been affected, all those, is also one of their findings. We will come to that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, very true. The reason I even mentioned that, Mr. Chairman, the auditors, we are also agreeing on what level of disclosures are the auditors expecting. We think we are doing our best, but sometimes our best are not enough for the auditors. So on this note, when we get there, Mr. Chairman, we'll also look at that. Thank you.
In fact, when I read the findings of the auditors, I think that they are also doing well to come out with all this. And to consolidate account for the whole of the country is not a joke. It's a big thing. And you need more hands. You need more hands. In fact, the agencies that are even giving you data also need more hands, or they need the knowledge, the expertise to be able to give you the adequate data which you consolidate. So it's not a small thing. I think that we'll improve upon it gradually. Paragraph 55, Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you very much. The case of the auditors is that in breach of paragraph 54 of the IPSAS 3, you were required to disclose the following: the nature of the prior period error for each financial statement line item affected, the amount of the correction at the beginning of the earliest prior period presented. The auditors established that in analyzing the whole government of Ghana, yet it did not provide detailed explanatory notes to financial statements in respect of 3 issues or 3 areas. 1, the circumstances and the nature of the errors corrected. B, the restatement of the comparative amounts for the prior year financial statements positioned as though no errors were committed. And 3, the effect of those restatements on the line items of the financial statements. And the auditors provided some details as captured in Appendix 1 as attached to, in fact, Appendix A as attached to the report. Now, it tells you notes to the accounts. Now, they are saying that this could lead to stakeholders relying on inaccurate information when assessing the financial condition of the government of Ghana. And this, like in respect of the data concerning pensioners and people on the public payroll, is such a major thing. Now, their recommendation is to the effect that it should provide a detailed disclosure of the prior period error. And this should include the nature of the error, the specific financial statement line items affected, error. And this should include the nature of the error, the specific financial statement line items affecting. They think that such transparency is vital for maintaining the integrity of the financial statements and ensuring that stakeholders have a clear and accurate understanding of the financial adjustments made. Now, this was a December 2023 observation. We are in August 2024. What's the situation?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. When we submitted the draft account to the Auditor General, this observation came up. So between the time we submitted the draft account and when the audit was concluded, we've been able to provide the information needed.
So they were right in saying that we breached IPSAS 3?
It's a matter of giving more information as expected by the standard. So
yes,
we have done that. And
so once we didn't meet the standards, we were in breach.
Mr. Chairman, we met the standards. So I will refer you to page 738 of the document we have.
Yeah.
So page 738 to 758. There is a report there that shows the prior year adjustment, the nature of the error, and the effect on the financial statement as required by the standard. So we drew auditors' attention, and I think they can affirm that we provided what the information they need, unless there's something additional they want from.
You know, the observation is that at the time of the audit,
yes,
if this were post-audit compliance, that is fine.
That's fine.
If this were post-audit compliance, that is fine. That's why I asked the question. These were December 2023 observations. We are in August 2024. What is the state of affairs? If you are now complying with their recommendations as well as in complying with IPSAS 3, it's all beautiful. It's to enable stakeholders have accurate information on our data. Now, auditors, okay, let me go back. Have you brought this to the attention of the auditors?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, can you verify and confirm that indeed explanatory notes as recommended by you are now provided for the prior year statement, financial statement corrections?
Honorable Chair, so post-audit, the additional disclosures has now been provided in the schedules on the pages 738 to 758. So that has been done.
Chairman, that will be all for CAG on this matter. Thank you.
All right, paragraph 63, Honorable Isaac Opoku.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, 63 is non-compliance with the requirements of IPSAS 21, impairment assessment of non-current accounts. The auditors are saying that you failed to conduct an impairment assessment of its non-current assets to determine if there were any indication of assets impairments. And the recommendation is that you implement a systemic process for conducting regular impairment assessment of non-current assets. Have you been able to carry out with this recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we at CAGD consolidate accounts, and in doing so, there was no indication at that time that there was an impairment loss. Normally, it has to be done by the covered entities. And we've taken notes. What we'll do is that we'll deepen our training programs and then also make sure that our entities carry out impairment tests, so that when we are doing our consolidation.
Let's go to paragraph 72, Honorable Apak.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. The issue at hand has to do with controllers' poor recovery of loan receivables. The auditors have quoted a gargantuanly colossal amount of 61 billion 139 million 796,531 Ghana cedis. According to the auditors, these loans have remained in government books without any evidence of an effective recovery plan or policy to retrieve the said amount for GOG. The auditors have urged Controller and Accountant General to, as a matter of agency, adopt a structural approach to the recovery of the debts from the debtors without any delay. They also advise the Controller and Accountant General to consider seeking approval from Parliament to write off the debt of covered entities which are found to be insolvent from the books. What action have you taken with regard to these recommendations?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there's a committee to that effect, and as at the end of last year, the committee was able to get the details of some of the complaints from Register of Companies. And as at 31st, we've been able to recover 46 million. And the process is ongoing. We are also looking at where we are going to make a recommendation for a write-off for those insolvent companies. Thank you.
Controller, if I heard you right, you are saying that of the 61 billion, you've been able to collect only 46 billion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, 46.
46 million, not billion.
No, 46 million.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have seen the list. The committee that you have set up, what is the state of the committee's work so far?
Mr. Chairman, they are working. It's a committee made up of officers from CAGD and the Ministry of Finance. They are working, and as I said, they got in touch with the register of companies, and we've gotten the list of all those companies. Some of them we could not trace them, but now they've been able to give us details. Some of them are insolvent; they don't even exist anymore. But we'll go after those who are still solvent, and then make sure that we recover this amount. And then those that are insolvent too, we will make a recommendation to the ministry and then to Parliament for a write-off. Thank you.
How long has this committee been working? Because I would want to know if the committee so far has identified the companies that are solvent versus those that are insolvent, because that will be important for satisfying the recommendations made by the auditors.
Mr. Chairman, the committee started working last year, and they are still preparing the list. As I said, they have a list from the register of companies. They are putting all the issues together, and then we will get the full list and then make a recommendation to Minister of Finance for the write-off of the insolvent ones. Thank you.
So are you telling this committee that before the auditors did their work, you had no record of these entities and companies and the fact that they owe the state?
Mr. Chairman, we had record, but we still needed to, because some of the companies, I said, we needed more detail from register of companies. We have the records of them in our books. But then, as I said, we wouldn't know that some of them are insolvent until we got to the register of companies, who gave us a list of the companies who are still in business. Thank you.
Well, the auditors believe that you have not done a good job. And I want to agree with them, because the percentage that you have retrieved from the amount involved clearly cannot be encouraging. It was an exam. You would have failed woefully. Woefully. It's less than 2%. I think it's even less than 1%.
Mr. Chairman, the issue is that the 67 billion that we are talking about is not spread equally among the companies. So it's possible that the company that owns a lot might have been insolvent. So if we are looking at what we've retrieved and what is outstanding, of course, you say that we haven't done a lot. But based on what we have done, if a company is taking even half of it and is insolvent, then definitely we can retrieve that amount. If you compare that percentage, then we say that, yes, we haven't done a lot. But I know we are working. The team is working seriously. Thank you.
Controller, I really didn't think you would try to defend this. No Ghanaian listening to this would be convinced. 63 billion. And what we have collected is not even up to 1%. No Ghanaian listening to this will be convinced. Anyway, Chairman, this is the current state of affairs with regards to the issue at hand. I yield to you.
Let me ask you a question. I know this is a consolidation of all the institutions that owe government. You are the accountant, so finally the figures might come to you. But do you really have, is it your responsibility directly as a controller to collect those debts? Or to put it mildly, do you have the system in place to make sure that these debts are changed and collected?
Mr. Chairman, it's Minister of Finance. Yes, but as Controller Accountant General, once we consolidate and prepare government accounts, when these issues come out, of course, as a department under the ministry, we think we can help to retrieve this amount. And that's the reason why we set up this committee, with joint committee between us and Minister of Finance, to go after those companies.
So don't you think it's the responsibility of the various ministries and institutions to go after their debtors? And that will be more effective than a committee in Accra trying to chase those who owe Fanti Akwasa District Assembly.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I think it will be a collaborative work, because even still the committee, as you say, yes, we will need to actually get in touch with their sector ministries. Yes, thank you.
Chairman, thank you very much. Controller, from your reference Appendix B. The auditor's notes disturbingly that if we take our assemblies alone, in our assemblies we refer to the metros, the municipals, and the district assemblies. The indebtedness alone amounts to 57.59 million. 57 million. It's million. And that is negligible in respect of the 61 billion reported. Now, if we take the other state institutions, and SOEs, it also comes to about 5.642 billion. So my question is, if we want to disaggregate this indebtedness in respect of the state institutions and the companies that owe us, some of the companies to our SOEs, which category owes more, so that you can focus on the recovery? Because you need to spend money to recover. If we know the group that owes us heavily, then we can focus on them and collect the monies from them, instead of going around the country chasing the assemblies, for instance.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, it's a good advice. We'll do that. We'll do that.
So can you tell us the chunk owed by the entities? If you cannot immediately do that, yes, if you cannot immediately do that, please take steps to disaggregate the amount. Then we can tell which category is capable of repaying. Then you can focus on them and collect the money.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chairman. The committee, are they workers of your institution? And do they receive stipends for sitting? Because my fear is that this meager amount that you have recovered will eventually, most likely, be used to pay them their stipends, so that we'll end up at ground zero.
Mr. Chairman, they don't take allowances. Thank you.
All right. I can see Consolidated Bank owing 9 billion. It's on page 56 of the report. Page 56. Consolidated Bank, 9 billion. Fidelity Bank, 497 million. NIB, I saw NIB somewhere. They owe 76, they owe again 300 million. Road Fund also owe 471 million. And I saw Development Bank also owe 190 million. They are all in the report.
Mr. Chairman, with the GCB and some of the banks we are seeing here, I think this issue came up last year.
Okay.
They wrote to us and this issue were clarified. We will check back and then get you the right, because this information, GCB doesn't owe, they don't owe us 9 billion. So it came up last year. CBG, yes. It came up last year. They wrote to us and they explained, and then actually they're not supposed to be on the list, and some of them. So, oh, no. Yes, but what I'm saying is that this was something, as last year there was a problem with it. So we'll get back and then make sure that the committee comes out with a reviewed list for this purpose. Thank you.
We are still on that recovery, low recoverable. Auditors, I want us to look at paragraph 74. The amount owed, as you quoted, is 63,384,527,594 Ghana cedis. Outstanding as loan recoverable. Only 43,450,428 Ghana cedis recovered, representing 0.07% of the total, which was what total recovered, leaving a balance of 61,139,796,531. Are you sure that the 61.1 billion you said there is correct?
Not about property.
Allow them to answer.
Honorable Chairman, obviously, we would have to do some reconciliation with the figures over here.
There is not a reconciliation here. No. It's a matter of deducting the 43 million from 63.384 billion.
Yeah.
You will not get 61 billion.
Yeah, that is true, Mr. Chairman.
The figure you get is 63 billion, 341 million, 77,166 Ghana cedis. So the figure
billion is accurate. I think that the problem is a figure from which they deducted that amount that has been recovered. But the 61...
Can you reconcile this 61 with the Appendix B that we have in the schedule?
We'll do that, Honorable Chair.
Auditor General, you should take your time when you are doing your work. This report is paragraph 82.
Standing payment to statutory. Very of this amount have you paid us at now? Paid our fourth and pay timeously. Thank you. And pay timeously. Thank you. Thank you.
Status, the amount recovered, or the 58,448 cedis. At the time of the follow-up, the amount is 13 billion. At the time of the follow-up, the amount is 13 billion.
Thank you, Chairman. Discrepancies in non-tax revenue. The auditors, in the course of their validation efforts, observed that 20 of the MMDAs have understated their non-tax revenue to the tune of 28,994,372 Ghana cedi, whilst another 10 have also overstated their revenue to the tune of 5,738,967 Ghana cedi 53 pesos. You were advised to at least promptly reconcile the discrepancies in terms of the non-tax revenue. I've read your responses, which indicates that the inclusion of grant revenue in the non-tax non-tax revenue amount, to the tune of 19,327,274 Ghana cedi 82 pesos by the gas for Ashama and Lingo Pram Pram. But the auditors still insist that their validation process and further clarification shows that the grants component and the non-tax revenue are reported separately in the statement of financial performance. So they still stand by their audit position. What has become of these discrepancies? Have you been able to reconcile it, both the overstated and the understated?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, as indicated earlier on, when we are consolidating the acting figures, auditors also relating to the entities at their level come up with their side of the figures, and we also having our disclosures in the account. So when issues like this come out, we try to work with the entities to get the exact position and get the accounts adjusted. So once the auditors are reiterating their position, the intention is to get to the specific entities, get these figures aligned, and then we get accounts adjusted accordingly. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
By the answer you are providing, it's suggesting you have not done anything in terms of reconciling with the effort, and the report still came back as you raised before the auditor's comment.
Yeah, we have done something, but it should not be reflected in the 2023 annual account entities.
So what you have done is what we want to hear now. That, we have checked, for example, maybe Ablekuma West Municipal Assembly, and the figure stated as non-tax revenue for them. The validated figure is correct and not what was stated in the financial statement, or what was stated in the financial statement was correct and not what. In other words, we want an update of the current situation of this report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. We've just finished validation for first and second quarter account last Friday, and once we are putting the account together, we'll know the exact position. So as at now, we'll not have a definite position
of accounts,
yes,
for the
entire
MMB. But here we are that a specific issue has been raised in relation, would have helped the process before you do all, because what you are telling us includes all the ones that did not have issues.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, the issue is that normally before we prepare the quarterly accounts, our team have to go around and then gather information, and then we'll do the validation. So what happened was that they waited till anyway to gather the information for the first and the second quarter. Why then don't we add this and do it at the go? And that is what they have done as at Friday, and then we are validating. And then all these issues will come out of that. They still have the information. But once they are doing the validation for the first and the second quarter, then the response, the issues on this particular observation will then be captured and then be taken care of. Thank you.
Well, when you do that, you make all of us work in 2025 before we will get actual answer to this issue raised by the auditors for 2023. Auditors, well...
No, Mr. Chairman, we don't have to wait to 2025 as auditors. So we won't wait for another year before the response to this comes out. No.
Well, yes, when you give it to the auditors, I'm talking about our sitting here. Yes. It's only when we are considering the 2024 report that we will have that opportunity again. The auditors may get it a bit earlier.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the recommendation is well taken, because the idea is to also make sure that in future such infractions do not happen. So it's also still a learning process. We will have learned a lot from this, and then it won't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the whole idea of this sitting, for us to learn and improve the processes. Auditors, I don't think I should ask you for any confirmation or otherwise. Mr. Chairman, we can proceed to the next issue. So
now, Controller, the figures that you put in the account, is it picked from the final account of the entities, or you request for them to provide the information and they give you the information?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, By law, every covered entity in Ghana is supposed to prepare their financial statement, submit to the Comptroller and Auditor General, and that's what Comptroller is supposed to consolidate.
That's right.
So it's now a mixture of the two, because some entities are not able to meet this reporting requirement on timely basis. So if you find you not being able to submit your financial statement, we have a template, a checklist to get your data on revenue, asset, liability you have incurred over the period. So if you are not able to submit your full financial statement, we are still able to validate your financial data for inclusion. Otherwise, we'll be recording huge omissions in the national account. So it's a combination of the two. But the expectation is that every covered entity in Ghana should be able to submit their full set of financial statements on time for consolidation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I asked that question because I'm holding here the report of the Auditor General for the District Assembly on their IGF, where the non-tax revenue, that is the IGF for each of the assemblies in Ghana, are captured. Okay? So the 20 assemblies that figure have been understated, I took the trouble to go one after the other. And this is what I find. The first one, Ablekuma West. The figure you reported in the account of 4.049 million is wrong. Per this report, the figure should be 4.425 million. The same year, 2023. So this is correct. Now, the second one is Abuako North. That's Eastern Region. Abuako North have a total of 1.449 million. And that is what you captured in the account. 1.499 million. The Auditor General quoted 7.494 million. Now the question is, Auditor General, this is your report, and you are telling this committee that for the IGF for Abokonov, their IGF for the year 2023 is 1.499 million. Yet, you are telling us in this report that the figure should be 7.494 million. Why? Because the two reports are from you, the Auditor General. Now, I know you can't get answer to the question. Let me take another one. Greater Accra. Ningo Pram Pram. Ningo Pram Pram.
Honorable Chairman.
Yes.
I think before you move on to that.
Okay.
When you look at the Abuaka North in the Abuaka North, we have a validated figure of 7.494017.96.
In the whole of government account?
The whole of government account?
Yes.
Okay.
That is 7.494. And I'm saying that in your IGF reports, same year, Abuaka North, the figure you validated here is 1.449 million. As IGF.
No, we reference it.
Yeah, the 7.494 is correct in the whole of government account. But in your IGF account, the figure you reported is 1.449. That is what the controller reported in the whole of government, which is correct. You get my point?
Yes.
So let's go to Ningo Pram Pram down to confirm what I'm saying. In the Ningo Pram Pram, you reported, controller reported 4.267 million, and you reported 11.549 million. Then I checked from the IGF account, Ningo Pram Pram, their revenue is 4.267 million, which agrees with controller. There are a number of them. So this table here is wrong. Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you very much. Controller, let me refer you to Appendix B of this report. The whole of government accounts for the year 2023. Now, in Appendix B, you have 3 subgroups. We have statutory boards and corporations. Then we have companies. Then you have, after companies, you have another subheading, miscellaneous. Now, under companies, I see ADB appearing under corporations and also appearing under companies. So, we have, for instance, Agric Development Bank under corporations, statutory boards and corporations. Then we have National Investment Bank. Then we have Electricity Company of Ghana. Then we have Volta River Authority. Then we have Ghana Grid Company, Metro Mass Transit Company, Intercity, and Bulk Oil. Then Development Bank. Now, if you come to the entities you listed under companies, you still have, you have Fidelity Bank, we have Consolidated Bank, we have National Investment Bank, we have Agricultural Investment Bank, and you have Northern Electricity Energy Company. Now, my question is, how do you group banks, some banks under corporations and some banks under companies? You recall that there is a raging issue, for instance, involving ECG, which is fighting that they should not be audited by the Office of the Auditor General, and that they should be, because they are a company set up under the Companies Act, they should be audited by their own audit-appointed firm by the board, if you recall that. It's a raging matter. And some other entities that the state has interest in. So we need to tidy up the labeling. Those that are corporations properly so-called, we list them properly. Those that are state companies but with interest, with state companies with public interest, we should also list them, because per the PFM Act, wherever public funds are invested in any entity, we ought to audit, they ought to account. You know, so, and these documents, like Chairman said, they are very valuable research documents. So the information should be, as much as possible, consistent and accurate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Chairman, thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to paragraph 96. Paragraph 96 is on understatement of cash and cash equivalents, 10.518 billion. This one borders on the cash flow statement that you prepare in the financial statement. The auditors have noted some discrepancies. So they recommended that CAG to maintain detailed documentation of all cash transactions, including supporting documents for all significant cash flows, thereby ensuring accurate and timely recording of all cash transactions in the accounting system. CAG should also implement robust internal controls and processes for cash flow statement preparation and review to ensure regular reconciliation of cash flow data with other financial statements to ensure consistency and accuracy of financial reporting. So your response is that the account have been updated based on the audit observation submitted. This invariably impacted on some line items in the financial statement, in the statement of cash flow. The updated statement of cash flow is available for audit review. The auditors wish to express that the adjusted cash flow statement disclosed an overstatement of cash and cash equivalent amounting to 11.3 billion. And they have provided details in another statement of cash flow. So the auditors have reiterated their recommendation. Have you done anything about that after you submitted the corrected statement of cash flow to the auditors?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. These were classification issues, and we've handled with the auditors, and we've come to a reconciled position. Thank you.
Auditor, they have reconciled this now.
Honorable Chair, yes, the reconciliation has been done.
All right, let's go to the next one. The Regulation 40 of the PFMA, regulation, stipulate that a revenue administration system interface with the GIFMIS is recorded directly into the GIFMIS shall by covered entities to the GIFMIS if the GIFMIS is used for administration of revenue. Paragraph 15 of IFSAS 1 state that the objectives of the general purpose financial statement to mean provision of information about the financial position, financial performance, and cash flow of an entity that is of use to the wide range of users in making and evaluating decisions about allocation of resources. In validating the ABFA in the whole of government account, we compared the amount recognized by the Bank of Ghana in the semi-annual report for 2023 fiscal year and the Public Internal Interest and Accountability Committee annual reports. We noted that both the PIAC and BOG recorded an ABFA amount of 5.45 billion. However, Controller and Accountant General reported an amount of 5.418 billion, resulting in an understatement of 32.29 million of the ABFA figure reported in the statement of performance, financial performance. Now, what the auditors are saying here is that they recommended that CAG should initiate a reconciliation process involving the BOG, PIAC, and the Controller Accountant General Department to identify and resolve the source of the discrepancy. CAG, have we been able to do that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What happened was that we at Controller used the spot rate, the balance. We picked the figures from the balance sheet, from the bank statement. So the rate that conversion was done, that's the rate we use. But then the PIAC, when the letters come from Minister of Finance and we write to Bank of Ghana for the distribution, it takes time. It takes some couple of days before the accounts are distributed and then the accounts debited. So they use the rates, PIAC uses the rate that the authorization was sent to Bank of Ghana to do the distribution. And it takes some couple of days. But we at Controller will wait till after the accounts have been debited. Then we'll pick the spot rates at that time to do our computation. So I think that's where the discrepancy is coming from, that the rate they used and then what we use at Controller Accountant General. Thank you.
But the auditors are saying that the spot rate on the transaction dates is the same as the SWIFT rate, advice rate. So there shouldn't be any discrepancy resulting from the Bank of Ghana using the SWIFT and you are using the spot. Because according to them, at the same rate.
Mr. Chairman, we had discussion with them on this issue. Mr. Chairman, the rates cannot be the same because the dates of the transfer will definitely be different from the day that authorization was asked, Bank of Ghana was asked to effect the distribution. So definitely the exchange rates will not be the same. The exchange rate will not be the same.
Because in Ghana, the exchange rate is hata.
Oh, I'm not saying it's hata, but some couple of days. No, Mr. Chairman, I'm saying this because sometimes we request transfers, Bank of Ghana to effect transfers, and because of the change in the exchange rate, after some couple of days, we need to sometimes to top up for the amounts to be transferred in the required currency. So that's what I'm saying, that the rates cannot be the same if it takes some couple of days before the transfers are effected. Thank you.
So when it happened that way, before you finalize your figure and put it in the financial statement, is there not the need to do a reconciliation with a BOG and PIAC figure so that we all come with a one figure in account?
Thank you, Mr. Farman. But we at Controller will always rely on the rate at which the transfers were effected. So maybe, as you're saying, in future we'll do that so that they will also have the same figure in their books so that we don't report differently. Thank you.
Because now that you have a lesser figure, a difference of 32 million, somebody will be asking, where is that money? You see, because you use different rate to convert. So the money is not into anybody's pocket, though, but because you use different rate to convert, somebody will be asking, Bank of Ghana is reporting 505.45 billion, and Controller is reporting 5.418 billion. There's a difference of 32 million. Where is the money?
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you that the money hasn't gone anywhere. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, auditors, can we now conclude and confirm that the rates are the same and that the solution is that there should be a reconciliation between BOG and the Controller so that they can all report on the same figure in their records?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Paragraph 115, Honorable Ajay Boatin.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with differences in classification between the approved budget and the budget presented in the financial statements. It says 24, requires that information presented in financial statements should be classified in a manner that is consistent with the budget approved by Parliament. The audit observed that Controller and Accountant General reclassified the approved budget to align with the financial information, resulting in differences in classifications of the budget presented by the Finance Minister and approved by Parliament. As a result of this, differences in amounts were noted, and the details are provided for in Appendix C. And if you go to Appendix C, you see what the auditors were making reference to. There were cases where there were differences in amounts quoted. That is the difference between the amounts that were presented in the statement and then the approved figures. The auditors recommended some measures. One, that a standardized set of classification criteria be agreed upon between the Ministry of Finance and the Controller and Accountant General. And then this has to be communicated for coordination purposes. You had your own reasons, and for that matter, the other recommendation was that you should do some reconciliation between the Controller and Accountant General's Department and the Ministry of Finance. Has that been done?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you said, this is a classification issue. We look at our accounting classification and then the economic classification. That's what the budget is based on. But on the Hyperion, the budget is loaded within the accounting classification. So definitely, if we want to do a comparison, we will use that. Because the accounting classification is based on the revenue, the expenditure. But then the economic classification will be based on consumption, investment, and government expenditure. So if we want to compare, then definitely we will look at the accounting classification with the accounting classification based on the Hyperion, which have been captured on Hyperion. But once we are not doing accrual budgeting, it's going to be very difficult to have that unless we move from the current situation to an accrual-based budgeting. Then we can do that direct comparison. But for now, Mr. Chairman, I think that is what we can do now, because the budget is loaded on Hyperion using the accounting classification, and that is what we also use to do the comparison. Thank you.
So this situation is going to continue for some time?
We looking at it, yet, but we also engage the Minister of Finance. But looking at the PFM Act, I don't know, but well, whatever, it can be done, but not now. Because until we move from the accrual-based budgeting, to the cash-based, move to the accrual, until we move to accrual, it will be very, for now, it's going to be difficult. Thank you.
So on this service, Controller is saying that it's going to be a difficult thing to be able to get your recommendation implemented. So what do you say about that?
We look forward to their engagement with MOF on how to proceed on this particular matter.
Chairman, I think that the challenge is still there. The reconciliation has not been done. There are challenges that the Controller is talking about. I think that with time they should be able to resolve it.
Auditor General, can you also do a reconciliation, taking into the economic classification and the Hyperion classification or the accounting classification to see if the figures are agreed? If you do that and they agree, then there is no problem. Or you want the way it appears in the budget, it should appear in the financial statement tool like that. You can just take the total figures and compare. I don't see this to be a problem. All right, paragraph 121, Honorable Bauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The third paragraph relates to accounting for gold royalties. And the auditors observed significant deficiencies in accounting for gold royalties by the Controller Accountant General Department and also the GRA. Specifically, Controller and GRA failed to comprehensively account for royalties, receivables on gold sold, and then provisional deposits made prior to export of raw gold, and then the unsold refined gold stock balance. So the auditors, the audit sample included records from 9 mining firms, which have been cataloged here on paragraph 128, the summary of the 9 firms, and then the amount put in the table there. And the auditors are saying that the exclusion of these significant items from the financial statements leads to misleading financial information that fails to accurately depict Ghana's financial position and performance. And so the recommendation was that Controller and the GRA should establish a comprehensive system to ensure a thorough accounting for gold royalties. And this system should include, the system should include, implement measures to accurately record and monitor all gold royalties receivables on gold sales, and then ensure that all provisional deposits made prior to export of raw gold are properly documented and accounted for, and also develop an effective inventory management system to track unsold refined gold stock balance. So can you walk us up to speed as to the recommendation of the auditors, whether this system has been established?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Accounting for gold, Mr. Chairman, is technically an emerging issue. But again, that does not mean we are not accounting for the monies that we receive in this regard. As far as GRA is able to collect these monies and report them to CAGD, we are also able to include them in the national account. But when it comes to accounting for gold, there are some technicalities involved to be able to get the figures right, including provisions. So when the auditors brought this observation, we acknowledge it, and the way forward is that to start establishing the systems and the rules of engagement with all the relevant parties to make sure we are able to get appropriate information on timely basis for inclusion in the national account. So, Mr. Chairman, this for now is a work in progress. Thank you.
The auditors raised 30 issues, like information on the that's the deposit prior to exports, and then also refined gold from raw gold exports. So that's why they ask that you set up a comprehensive system that can report on all this. So from the audit, how have you been able to deal with these issues?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So far, we've had a preliminary engagement with the Minerals Commission. We drew their attention to the need to really factor in all the technicalities in getting the right information on the gold royalties and the rest. So, Ministry of Finance, GRA, and Bank of Ghana, we started the engagement. At Controller, we are able to only report on what information we'll be able to receive from the relevant parties. So the expectation is in the 2024 annual account, this recommendation by auditors will be given all the needed attention, and we'll try as much as possible to implement the necessary systems to capture the accounting, Mr. Chairman.
And have you brought all this to the attention of the auditors?
Yes.
Auditors, what can you say to this?
Honorable Chair, they brought it to our attention. They are still working on it. So subsequently, we'll see in the next financial statement whether some of these things have been addressed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to you.
Paragraph 135, Sam George.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, may you live long. Paragraph 135, Controller. Non-disclosure of secured bonds for deferred custom tax duties amounting to a total of 1,941,868,507 Ghana cedis. The audits discovered or observed that you did not disclose these bonds which were issued to the government to secure deferred customs tax duties in the whole of government accounts. And the details have been attached in Appendix D. However, and this first question goes to the auditors. Auditors, I noticed that Appendix D, the total amount at the end of the table is different from what you are quoting, because the total amount in Appendix D is on page 82, and that is 953,187,704 cedis 47 pesos. Why that discrepancy? Before we come to the controller, or that's not the Appendix D that is being referred to. On page 40, paragraph 135. But anyway, an accountant general.
As requested by specifically paragraph.
Sorry, take that again. You said paragraph.
So we'll go to page 123 of secure bonds for 941,041 million of importers to pay custom duties on goods imported in the country and stored at the Government of Ghana bonded house. So what this means is that we are pushing this will be recognized as government.
Note 1.1 contingent assets as contingent assets. However, they've not seen any evidence of you holding those as contingent assets. So are you saying that the auditors are wrong and you are right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are not saying the auditors closures warehouses. So if the auditors to confirm
is that in your response, and there is contingent assets, a closing stock of. So why are you disputing that? But that is what you have stated in paragraph of them having what the correct number figure is. Why? Made reference to the deferred tax duties recorded.
As at the time provided that portion.
Ola brought their back to you that the audit on 12 million can build at least a few school blocks.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I think the discrepancy shouldn't be an issue, but the issue is in paragraph your 1.941 billion as contingent asset. They have recognized this as a contingent asset. It's part of your report into.
I think the question is team here, so we'll get back to the committee on this.
For Control and Accountant General, paragraph failure information interface with the GIFMIS or of these regulations directly transfer days to the GIFMIS of the whole of the regulation. As a result, whole of government account differ that CAG collaborate with GN system and the model financial statement. Now your response, which you state that the CAG to integrate the revenue system with the GIFMIS, that's your
we secured a vendor system, but then we decided to put that on hold. Then to the icons that they are using now, that when they are done with that, then the integration will be done, the interface will be done with their system. Thank you.
So it means that you need a separate system that will integrate into the GRA tax administration system, or the GRS one they are going to develop can also be used by CAG.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that's why we need the middleware. It acts as a bridge or intermediary between two different applications. So when that is done, then you can then interface with GIFMIS. Thank you.
That will be all for you. And I'm going to discharge you. You are discharged. We thank you very much for coming.
Thank you too.
Let's have Ministry of Youth and Sports. That's National Sports Authority and National Youth Authority. I, Mustafa Yusuf,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of Almighty God swear.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
Touching the matter in issue.
Touching the matter in issue.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Kindly introduce yourselves to the committee. Chairman, thank you so much. My name is Mustafa Yusuf, the Minister for Youth and Sports and also Member of Parliament for Yagaba Kuboro constituency. And I'm here with my Chief Director, Mr. William Kate, the National Sports Authority Director General. But Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would like the National Sports Authority and the National Youth Authority to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Doji Lumekevo, Director General of the National Sports Authority.
Abdul Majid Bawa, Deputy Director General, National Sports Authority.
Kwekwe Jelabi, Chief Accountant, National Sports Authority.
Baba Osman Dane, Director of Finance, National Youth Authority.
Abdul Karim Tosa, Director Internal Audit, Ministry of Youth and Sports.
All right, we'll start with the National Sports Authority. Okay. And your infraction start from paragraph 2604. That is on your financial performance. In 2021, you made 1 billion deficits. In 2022, you still made deficit, but no, 1 million deficit in 2021. And in 2022, 247,000 deficits. How is the situation like now? Currently, how is the trend? If you look at the 2023 account, will there be an improvement?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there will.
Let's go to paragraph 2613. Unsupported PVs, 174,781 Ghana cedis. This involves a number of PVs, 51 payment vouchers. It did not support them with the relevant documents. The auditors recommended that management should ensure that a total amount of 174,781.49 is accounted for with a relevant supporting document, failing which the amount should be recovered from the authorizing and approving officers. Have you accounted for these PVs?
Chairman, thank you so much. Chairman, with your permission, I'll ask the Director General to respond to your question. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, all the relevant supporting documents to the pay vouchers have been duly submitted to the auditors subsequently.
Can auditors confirm?
Honorable Chair, the supporting documents have been presented and we have verified them. Thank you.
The next one is paragraph 2616. No, 2618. Procurement without evaluation reports. The total amount is 253,278 Ghana cedis, involving 7 transactions. Now, the auditors noted that these 7 contracts were awarded by management without recourse to an evaluation panel for the evaluation of the tenders. The in charge of procurement explained that an evaluation panel is constituted only during major procurement. This is not major one, so. Are you still following your policy of doing evaluation when there is a major procurement?
Mr. Chairman, there are certain procurements that are very little that do not have to go through the evaluation committee and therefore report. So,
but you follow the procurement process. Only that you don't do evaluation.
That's correct. You follow the evaluation process.
No, those small procurements that you don't follow the evaluation process, do you go by the procurement method, either sole sourcing or whatever? Do you follow the process?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, quotations are provided, and after everything is procured, there's an evaluation report.
That is what you are doing now.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But in this case, you didn't do that.
It was done because at the time, the evaluation officer was indisposed. But subsequently, he came and then provided a report, which we have submitted to the auditors accordingly, Mr.
Is
Chairman.
evaluation done by only one person?
No, the officers.
You say officer. You say evaluation officer was indisposed. Now officers, they were all indisposed. Were they all indisposed?
So there's a panel, and the point I'm making is that the secretary to the panel was indisposed, so could not provide the documents in this case. But subsequently,
the procurement officer said, the officer in charge of procurement explained that an evaluation panel is constituted only during major procurement. It's different from what you are saying.
Yes, the point I'm making is that at the time, based on this report, which I have before me, I don't know if it's the same thing that we have, for the 253,000, the secretary to the committee was indisposed and could not provide the reports.
And I'm saying that I've listened to what you said, but in this same report, your procurement officer gave reasons why there was no evaluation. That they only do evaluation if there's a major procurement. That is the point I'm saying, that it's different from what you are saying.
Mr. Chairman, clearly the procurement officer was wrong on that occasion in the kind of report he gave to the auditors, I should say.
Where is that procurement officer now? Is he still with the authority?
No, he's not. He's not with the authority anymore.
Your Auditor General, I've recommended for a special audit of that office.
Do a follow-up after a year.
In fact, I was reading the Constitution, but if you read the Audit Service Act, Section 22 empower us to demand or request for a special audit. So we are demanding for a special audit of that office, okay? Because we have seen what has gone through in that office anytime they appear. I hope that this time we'll not go to those challenges again, now that the new person is in charge.
Mr. Chairman, rightly so. We are putting in place measures to make sure that whatever occurred in the past does not reoccur this time.
I'll believe you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your belief in me, sir.
Paragraph 2624. Unremitted withholding tax, 28,500. Have you remitted same?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have remitted same and we have gotten receipts to that effect.
Can auditors confirm?
Honorable Chair, the outstanding withholding taxes has since been remitted. Thank you.
Paragraph 2629, Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you very much. National Sports Authority, the case of the auditors is very simple. That there are observations that there are inadequate records on ground and conference rooms rentals. A very tall list of items have been indicated. Now, what is the status of this matter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What happened is that
what is the status? There's an improvement. You speak to it.
In fact, yes, there's an improvement.
So let's hear it.
So the Director General has formed a facilities, But this is a national issue because we are taking into consideration the geographical economic conditions. What pertains in Accra is not likely to be the same economic situation in the north or in the Volta region. So we are taking the economic situation of the various, where the facilities are located into consideration to produce a comprehensive report. But all the lists can be found in the Ghana.gov because the prices are approved by this House, the Parliament committee responsible for fees and charges. They approve the list for us, and that is what we use. Thank you, Mr.
The auditors noted two things. One, you do not have readily traceable files indicating invoices and approval letters of premises or facilities that you rented out. That was one major observation they made. Two, there were also no indication as to how much you were giving these facilities out. So they recommended that there should be a guideline. And these were December 2023 observations. So in August 2024, if you are telling this committee that you are now taking steps to do that, it's unacceptable. We were hoping to hear that between the observation and now, guidelines have been set to determine how much it's applicable, that the economy is of why is this. So if you want to fix rate, fix so much money, no. Very simple guideline. And then two, it should have files so that when the auditors come, they can determine that when NIA applied to use your facility in, say, Accra or Ho, for purposes of organizing their mass registration of citizens, they paid, the letter came on so-and-so date, you approve of the letter, and they use the facility for so-and-so number of days. Those are the things the auditors said they couldn't see. Even though you reported revenue, because you gave the place out and got revenue, they thought that these basic things these basic requirements of letting out the facility should exist. So, Director General, you should be telling us that the guidelines have been provided. So when this year's audit is done, they will see a guideline regarding rates applicable to the to these premises that you own, and two, when they want requests for use of premises even from Parliament, there would have been an indication that you approve of that letter, and Parliament had access to the place. So these are the observations.
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to say that now before anyone contracts with the authority to use our venues, the legal department drafts a proper agreement or a contract, and that is placed on file. Copies are given to the people who propose to use the facility. In terms of the rates we charge, I mean, you may recall that recently Parliament used the venue. We have actually sent them the invoice.
Exactly my point.
We have actually sent them the invoice accordingly, and we do same with all other people who propose to use our facilities. And the guidelines have been drafted. Okay, so it's here to go to the board. So all those things are on file actually. Okay. That when the auditors come, they can find.
Okay. Going forward, good to hear. Have you brought these developments to the attention of the auditors?
We haven't done so yet, but we'll do so.
Okay, because it's a key requirement, a key recommendation after the observation. Bring these developments to the attention of the auditors so they can update their records. Chairman, that'll be all on this.
Very well, sir. Thank you.
For National Sports Authority. Thank you.
Paragraph 2634, Honorable Isaac.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, is about outstanding rent receivable who are occupying your stores and shops. They owe the authority an amount of 248,600 Ghana cedis. Have you been able to recover the outstanding amount from the occupants?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We have written to this organizations, the issue is that there are some people that we owe and there are others that owe us. So for companies like El Sayus and Ramani, we have reached an agreement with them, a settlement agreement. This is because we are indebted to the two companies. So copies of the debt agreement are attached for audit verification. So we have forwarded them to the auditors. The others we have written to demanding payment, and we have got copies of those letters on our files as I speak.
So does it mean that so far you have not been able to recover anything at all?
With respect to the rent, we have recovered something.
How much?
I will defer that to the auditor, please. The accountant, please.
Mr. Chairman, demand notice has been sent, but we've not received anything as we speak on this.
But the demand notice is different from, cash.
Yes. No cash has been received as at date on this.
So what sort of timelines are we looking at? What sort of period do you hope to recover the outstanding amounts?
Normally, when we write to them, we follow up, and if we are not hearing a response, we close down the shops.
It's not clear. I mean, from the letters that you have written, what sort of, term have you given them?
Sir, they were given 10 working days to pay. And after that, we were considering legal actions if they've not.
And I'm sure the 10 days, yes. When were the letters written?
The last letters we wrote to them was 8th May, Mr. Chairman.
8th May?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And we are in August.
Yeah.
So I believe, the shops and the stores have been closed down by now.
Not all of them, Mr. Chairman.
If you look at the second part of the recommendation, we also advise management to ensure that rent accrued from the premises is billed to the tenants in a timely manner. Are you doing that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do that. Invoices are issued to them on time.
Have you shown correspondence of the letters written to the auditors?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, are you in a position to confirm?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm the demand notice set on the companies. That's what we can confirm.
Chairman, they have not been able to recover any money yet, but they've written demand notices to the defaulters. Paragraph 2639, Honorable Apak.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Non-deduction of rent, 113,204 Ghana cedis. The auditors refer to the letter from the Minister for Finance, which says that occupants of government bungalows, flats, quarters are to pay 10% of their basic salary per month as rent. They noted there are some 7 employees who occupied the authorities' bungalows for the period ranging from 2 to 6 years, owed rent totaling the amount I quoted earlier. They have therefore recommended that you take the needed steps, including legal action, to recover the outstanding rent. They give a table with a list, names, as well as positions, and have indicated how much is owed. I don't want to go through the list. For the sake of time, how much have you been able to deduct or collect from the defaulters, who are by and large staff of your own entity?
Mr. Chairman, in the case of, I should mention Kwame Ba, Kweku Bimpong, and other employees who are still employees of the National Sports Authority, we have written letters to the Controller and Accountant General asking them to deduct the amount they owe from their salaries. And we have these letters here with me.
Well, the issue clearly will make it difficult to escape the names. So we have Vivian. How much has she paid, or how much has been deducted from her salary? Vivian Bogbla.
Mr. Chairman, Vivian Dubro and Idris Wuntoma are directors of the company, and they are entitled to free accommodation.
Okay. So you have made that known to the auditors?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, what is your verdict on this claim? Because you have cited the officers in question.
Honorable Chair, yes, a document was shown to us after the audit, which shows that some officers who are entitled to the Banglu, so after the reconciliation, an amount of 57,888.45 is something that those people are entitled. But the outstanding of 55,317.25 has since not been corrected. Thank you.
So, for the sake of the records, the authority is indicating that directors are entitled to free accommodation. And Vivian, obviously, is a director. Edmond Kwame is a director. Idrisu is a director. So that's 3 of them, which that means that the 4 are the ones that should be paying rent. Now, you said you had written to them. When did you write to controller to deduct from their salaries?
Where is it? Look for it. Mr. Chairman, the letters were written on the 8th of May 2024, and I have here receipts of the deductions from the Controller and Accountant General's Department on their pay slips. So the deductions have actually started, and I have payment slips to that effect.
Well, that is encouraging, but that also tells us that if you had written earlier than 2024, this issue would have been resolved. So you are the reason why this is still outstanding. The officer who should have written the letters, and I know he's not a minister. He is my neighbor, Yahweh Kubore. Mr. Chairman, the process is ongoing. The letters have been written, and deductions are in progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Paragraph 2645, Honorable Akosi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this has to do with rent receivables in the Cape Coast region of the National Sports Authority. On the list, there are 7 tenants who fail to honor their obligation to the Sports Authority. The location, Mr. Chairman, that is where I would want to begin with. We have 2 locations here, and the Sports Authority will probably be able to help us, or the auditors. You have New Stadium, and you also have the Robert Mensah Stadium. Do you have all these 2 stadiums, these 2 in Cape Coast?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay. Where's the new stadium located in Cape Coast? You also agreed with the auditors per the management response that you gave that yes, these amounts are due.
So out of the amount of 26,657, we have succeeded in recovering, no, out of the amount of 32,552, leaving an outstanding amount of 5,895.
When was this recovery made?
So, check for me.
Let's go this way. So, which amongst the tenants is still owing?
Okay, so let me give you the breakdown. For Near Royal New Stadium, the outstanding the amount collected is 12,457, leaving a balance of 2,595. Again, for Health Paradise New Stadium, we have collected an amount of 3,000, which is all that they had to pay. Festive Kate New Stadium, we have collected an amount of 10,100, leaving an outstanding amount of 500. Grace Comey, Robert Mensah Stadium, is an outstanding amount of 600. Margaret Wilson, Robert Mensah Stadium, we have collected an amount of 800, leaving an outstanding amount of 1,600. And that's the breakdown. So as I said, we have collected nearly 26,000 something, leaving an outstanding amount of 5,800.
And has these recoveries been made known to the auditors?
Yes, they have.
Auditors, can you please confirm?
Honorable Chair, in total, 26,657 Ghana cedis has been retrieved, leaving a balance of 5,895. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, recovery is being made, and continue with the effort. I'm sure the 5,000 too you can recover. You've made very good.
Thank you very much. I just have a quick public interest question. It has to do, and maybe this would either be answered by the Minister or the Sports Authority. You had an arrangement with GBC to cover the All Africa Games, right? Can you share with this committee how much that coverage was for, and whether payment has been made for same?
Thank you so much. Yes, GBC was the official broadcaster for the African Games, the 13th African Games, and I can confirm that full payment have made to GBC.
Do you have per chance what the amount was?
I can't recollect the exact amount, but I know that it's in the excess of $3 million US dollars.
You paid GBC
yes.
in excess of $3 million US dollars
yes.
for coverage of the All Africa Games.
Yes.
Chairman, I think that I would rest here, and maybe the next time GBC appears before us, because most of the technicians who worked on the All Africa Games have still not been paid. And so we wanted to ascertain if you have paid and how much has been paid. Chairman, I'm grateful.
All right, Honorable Gifa.
Thank you, Chair. Just public interest question on the status of the whole sports stadium, our regional sports stadium, please.
Mr. Chairman, we want to find out whether honorable member is referring to the Youth Resource Center or the host, the old one.
The old stadium. The old stadium. Mr. Chairman, we started the whole stadium in 2017 to 2018, which is about 5,000 seater capacity. That's close to Adakulu. Is that the one you are referring to? Or?
I said Ho.
Yes,
I didn't mention Adakulu. There's an MP for Ho Central, and there's an MP for Bajrai. And there's an and there's an MP for Adaklu. My question to you is about who.
So the question is actually not referring to the youth resource center at Adaklu or between Adaklu and Ho, but it's referring to the whole stadium. The existing one, you know,
yes,
that stadium, yes.
Mr. Chairman, yes, the whole sports stadium is currently being used by.
When you were a student, you used to play there. Yeah, Mauli School, yeah, you used to go there.
That's correct. I used to sneak out of campus to go watch games over there.
Yeah, so what is the status of that stadium?
At the moment, it's being used for football matches. Division 1.
No. What is the status of the facility? Not what activity has been going on. But Mr.
Chairman, it's being used, so it's not in an excellent state, but it's being used, and there's still some work to be done on it. Thank you.
When do you plan to do this work that has to be done?
Well, maybe I have to, as and when my minister, when the minister advances some monies to us, we'll start the work.
So, Honorable Minister, is there any plan to rehabilitate the whole stadium?
Yes.
Is there any plan?
Chairman, the government policy is to ensure that every region in Ghana, we have a modern and internationally accepted stadium. And we are making sure that the regions that are not having those facilities, we are working as and when we get funds and funding arrangements are put in place, you will see us in those regions to make sure that they are done.
So,
including who?
Okay. So, which regions in Ghana do not have a stadium now?
We have the new 6 regions currently.
The new 6 one, then the old ones.
The Sunyani and who?
Sunyani
and who?
And who?
Yes, but for Upper East and Upper West, we are using the current youth resource center for WA. It is almost done, which is just about to be commissioned. In Navrongo, we have one which is for the Upper East. But even in Bolga, we have also the regional stadium. So in Bolga, we are going to work on that. We have asked AESL to make sure that they get us an estimate so that we can plan for those regions. So where we have the youth resource centers being in the regional capital, then they will serve as the regional stadium. But where they are located in a different district, then the regional capital will be catered for a stadium.
Okay. So,
sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I recall that you mentioned that each district or municipality will get its own
AstroTurf.
When is Katu South going to get ours? Thank you very much.
We, like several times, we have asked these questions. As we speak now, we have in excess of 160 AstroTurf dotted across the country. 160 in SS. So it is in work in progress, and we are going to ensure that every district, including K2 South, get their share.
And anyway, maybe we'll come and continue. They are leaving, so don't worry.
Sam John says, Chairman, may you live long.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, yesterday, at your manifesto launch, you claim to have built 10 stadiums in Ghana from 2017. Can you give me the location of those stadiums? Not the Youth Resource Center. Oh. Okay, give me the center, the Youth Resource Center that you are calling stadium. Give me the locations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one in Wa.
Okay.
We have one in Navrongo. We have one in Yendi.
Wait.
Yendi.
Okay.
We have one in Ehinehini. We have
There is an issue in Hinehini here. We will respond to it right now.
Then we have one in Azim. We have one in Dunkwa Ofin. We have one in Adaklu. And we have one in Domahinkro. And we have one in Azuma Nesen. And we have one in Kofodia, Kanation, Azuma Nesen. We have one in Kofodia. Kofodia 1 has been commissioned and is currently being used.
Mr. Chair. Yeah, you have one in what?
Kofodia. That's 10.
No. Wa Akake wa Navrongo Yendi and Yinahin Azim
Dunkwa Ofin
Adaklu
Domahinkro
Kofodia.
Yes.
That's mine.
And Kaneshi,
okay. All right. You see, Honorable Minister, you see the Yinahin one? Have you seen it?
Chairman, and I appreciate the challenges that we are currently facing challenges with the funding, because the National Youth Authority was the institution funding these stadiums that we are building. But when our colleague took the Common Fund disbursement to the Supreme Court, and the Common Fund was directed that we're not eligible per the laws that we have passed here, to get 5% of the allocation of the Common Fund to the National Youth Authority, which was the source of the funding for this facility. We had started having issues for the past 3 years. So we decided that the little that we are getting from the Common Fund, because she has to use her discretion, instead of what you approved, the Parliament approved, directed because of the Supreme Court ruling, the little that we are getting is that we are now making sure that we finish them in phases, because the money that originally the budget that we had cannot continue to use work on all the 10. So the first phase of all the 10 are done, and the second phase we have staggered them. 5 of them are going to be completed and commissioned, and then the rest of the 5 will complete them by next year.
So by Honorable Minister, it means that you have completed 5 out of the 10 of the youth resource centers. The other 5 are going to be completed later. Is that the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So what your party said yesterday, that you have built 10 stadium, is false.
It's not. Because it's not.
You have just admitted that you completed 5.
We have completed 5, but the rest of the, as we speak, the rest of the 5, we are going to make sure that we complete them. Because
so you are working on that. So you can't say that you have completed 10.
The phase 1 have all been completed.
Ghanaians are watching and listening to you.
Yes, the phase 1 have all been completed.
You have built 5 resource centers, 5 yet to be completed. You have not built 10 stadium. So what you said was a palpable lie.
We didn't say we have completed. We said we have built. If you go to Adaklu now, the structures is there. If you go to Kofodia, the structures are there. If you go to Azim, the structures are there. If you go to Azim, the structures are there.
Okay, let's move on. We are now going to... have they completed Navrongo?
Mr. Chairman, you remember I asked this question in Parliament. I even pleaded through the Speaker for you to complete the Navrongo Sports Stadium. This sports stadium was built by the Achampong so many years ago. You have come to only do the field. And you know there was that dispute, the issue between the 2 contractors, which I'm not sure it has been resolved. So if you say you have gone, but the place is locked, it's locked.
Chairman, we've resolved the issue between the contractors, but the challenges that I've just stated has to do with the disbursement, the releases from Common Fund. That's why we have not gone back to site. But I can assure the Honourable Member of Parliament for Navrongo, which is our backyard, that we'll complete it.
All right, let's go to the Youth, National Youth Authority. Paragraph 2650, Honourable Kofi Adams.
Chairman, before Honourable Kofi Adams comes, I want to apologize on behalf of the CEO. He's not feeling well, so he apologized. No, he's not. He's not feeling well, and he has apologized. So I'm just apologizing. His officers are here to respond. Thank you.
On Saturday, he was the MC for the burial service of the mother of Peter Amau. On Saturday. And today, Monday, you are telling us stories.
As for sickness, Chairman, anything can happen at any time.
If the person is not sick, you say you're sick. We believe that the person will get sick. Okay, Kofi.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. And Mr. Minister, it's not your fault. It's your people who put you in this difficult situation after announcing 10 completed stadiums when you have only 5. But let's deal with the National Youth Authority related issues. And well, the chief executive is not here, so I believe that those who are here will be able to answer the questions, and you, the minister, too, you're here. Your GOG subversion, well, I'm not worried much on that. Your donor funding and other revenue, where does it really come from? Which are the sources for your donor-funded resources and what you described as other revenue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The other revenues are mainly received from the District Assembly's Common Fund. And in respect of donors, when we have programs, we solicit funding, we write proposals to development partners for support. And so the donor refers to funding that we have received from some of our development partners. Thank you.
You said mainly this Assembly Common Fund. So which are the other sources of your other revenue?
The other revenue is this Assembly's Common Fund.
So it's not mainly, everything is this Assembly Common Fund?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Any explanation to the huge jump in 2022 from 40,847,000 to 86,987,000? 113% jump in terms of allocation as compared to the previous year.
Yes, these were payment arrears we received in 2022 relative to 2021 and 2022 financial years.
So the arrears will not be 2022, so the arrears is 2021 because we are dealing with the 2022 accounts here. Is the arrears only for from 2021 or any other year before 2021?
The 2021 arrears were received in 2022, including 2 quarters in 2022.
No, 2020 or 2022?
2022. Yes, 2022, yes.
So you have 2 quarters in arrears for 2022 now, which you haven't received. Is that, or have you received it since?
No, as at now, we have received up to first quarter of 2023.
Okay, so the indication is that you do some special projects, and that is the reason for these jumps, special operations. What are the projects involved in these special operations? What is described here as special operations in terms of?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. They are the expenditure on for the construction of the youth resource centers.
Your goods and services also jumped to 23.7 million from 15.3. What went into the goods and services charge for such a jump?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In respect of goods and services, some of them are actually capital expenditure that was captioned as goods and services.
Your capex being captured under goods and services. Can you give us any example? Can you explain what you mean by capex being captured under goods and services?
We are constructing our head office complex at the Azuma Nursing Sports Complex. So we realized that the expenditure for that head office was mistakenly captured as goods and services. Yes.
Mistakenly captured by who and how much is it?
The total value that was captured is 9 million cedis.
The total value captured as far as your head office project at the Azuma Nelson Sports Complex was what? 9 million?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And all that was captured under goods and what? Services?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So if we take out the 9 million from the 23, then are you suggesting that your goods and services allocation dropped in 2022 to about 14.7 million if you are deducting?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What about, you were supposed to do a project of supplying some startups to young persons across the country. What has become of that project?
That is STEPS. We started it in 2020, late 2022, and it continued up to 2023, and it's still in progress, in process, Chair.
But how far has it gone? Is it, because we don't see it in most part of the country. At West too, when you see it, then it is also politically tainted.
We're going to train 1,000 young people across the country within some selected districts in the country.
And something that you started, you said 2021 through now till now, you haven't been able to identify the persons.
Please, I have not, Mr. Chair, I have not.
Let me ask, is there any disbursement of some funds to crafts masters and madams in relation to this very project that?
Yes, the authority pays for training fees from the master to the master craftsmen. Yes, and also provide training tools to the apprentices.
Well, the financial position, Mr. Chairman, I don't know. Don't you have any liabilities, or the auditors, you chose not to capture their liabilities, both current and otherwise, because there's nothing captured as liabilities for them? Well, this is what they presented to you. If you can answer the votes that you have presented, from all that we have looked at, even the local government services that have no issues, you have current liabilities, you're talking about total liabilities, and out of that, you looked at the net assets. But for National Youth Authority, you only give the non-current assets and current assets.
Honorable Chair, this is what they presented and we validated. So if we don't have it, it means that they didn't have it.
Why, you don't have any liabilities?
We have certificates that are raised by our contractors for the works done on our youth resource centers, among others. But even though government of Ghana is now using a accrual accounting system, but these accounts were recorded on cash basis.
Well, because that seems to be the only institution so far, if my memory serves me right, that, Mr. Chairman, are reporting their financial statements without liability. So I don't know what you would say to that. And
let's move on. Paragraph 2657, Roxanne.
Chairman, thank you very much. The National Sports Authority. The case of the auditors is that some resource center in Yinehini. Now, the auditors are saying that situations like this can lead to one, an increase in the contract sum, and also lead to loss of public funds. So they are recommending that the sector minister should find resources to complete the project. These are observations made in December 2023. We're in August 2024. Honorable Minister, what's the status of the Yinehini sports facility? It's a youth resource center, actually.
Thank you, Chair. At the time of the audit, the project is divided into two, phase 1 and phase 2. At the time of audit, the phase 1 contractor had completed the project. The phase 1 contractor.
The phase 2 consisted of what and what and what?
The phase 2 consisted of the.
Sorry, the phase 1 consisted of what and what and what?
2 stand, multi-purpose court, the football pitch, among others. And so at the time of the audit, the phase 1 contractor had finished his work. So the amount quoted here was the value that has been paid to the phase 1 contractor for work done. And we wrote to the phase 1 contractor, took over the project and handed it. No, we wrote to the phase 1 contractor. We took over the contract, and National Youth Authority took over the contract, the work from the phase 1 from the phase 1 contractor, and then the phase 2 contractor took over, and the phase 2 contractor is currently working as we speak. Yes.
Now, so why would the auditors flag this project this way if, according to the timelines and the timetable for undertaking this project, phase 2 had been completed duly and handed over? And let me ask this. Upon the completion of phase 1, could the facility be put to use?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the project, like the accountant said, is put in phases, phase 1 and phase 2. The phase 1 was to construct 2 stands, do the pitch, and also do tracks, do a court. But as the project was progressing, and consultants and the National Youth Authority staff were doing site visitation, and to commercialize the facilities, because we needed to make sure that the place is commercialized, we needed to put them fence, because the scope of the phase 1 didn't take into consideration the fencing. So then they packaged a phase 2 in 2020 and awarded for phase 2 of all the projects. Then the contractors started work. The phase 1, all the phase 1 contractors across the country have completed their work. They've all completed their work.
Honorable
But
Minister,
the phase 2.
Honorable Minister.
Yes.
The auditors have issues with phase 1. So I don't want the discussion to be polluted with phase 2 matters. They are saying that given the photograph we see, the project has been abandoned, even though we had paid in excess of 14.1 million. So is the 14.1 million supposed to cater for only phase 1 activities?
Yes.
So that is why I asked, would the completion...
And because we needed to commercialize them...
Hold on. That is an afterthought, so we'll get there. Would the completion of the phase 1 help to put the facility to a purpose? And they are saying no. So how did we segment the project that way? If, for instance, the completion of phase 1 wouldn't have allowed it to be put to some purpose. Because a project like that, you need to have the full gamut, phase 1, phase 2 combined. So funding would have been sought for the entire phase 1, phase 2. Now you have to go back and look for money for phase 2, which is not forthcoming. So even though we've pumped money into phase 1, it has been abandoned, and you can see the photograph. And yet the facilities or the fixtures that have been brought and installed as part of phase 1 are in a state of deterioration. So by the time we come back with phase 2 with money ready, the aspects of phase 1 fixtures would have deteriorated, would have to go back and now find additional money to fix them or repair them. Extra cost. Then now there's the issue of about fencing. So sometimes how we do the
Chairman, I appreciate the challenges, but since that audits, the accountant have just mentioned that as we speak, the contractor is on site working on the phase 2. So since the audits captured, the contractor have since gone back to site.
Phase 2, what does it involve?
The phase 2 involve the fence, the floor, the floor lights, the Titan, the tracks,
floodlights.
Okay. Yes, and the tracks, the Titan tracks, the scoreboard.
But he mentioned that the tracks were part of phase 1. He mentioned.
Pardon? You can do.
Thank you, Chair. The form basis for the tracks is in phase 1, but the laying of the tartan itself is in phase 2. Yes.
Right. Okay. I won't belabor the point. Already your budget 2 is spent. You are in August 2024. I don't think you have money for this. We came for media review. We didn't ask for additional funding for your ministry.
Chairman, like I've mentioned,
we just did media review.
The contractors, at Unbanked currently, the second phase contractor is on site, and it is our hope that they will all.
Do you have money? Do you have funds to pay him?
At least for now, he has been given something to go on site and work.
No, that's not the interest of this committee. The committee is interested in having Unbanked completed and put to use.
Yes, yes.
So you are assuring us that by the end of the year, you have enough funds to complete phase 2 and put the Unbanked Youth Center.
As the releases come, so there is a budget.
So you are unable to assure the committee.
Yes, because I'm not the one releasing the money. It's the Ministry of Finance and the.
Honourable Minister, the recommendation of the auditors in December 2023 was that you should look for additional funds to complete this before your budget, before your 2024 budget was presented to Parliament and approved. So you ought to have done that.
Yes, what I can assure the committee is that the contractors are currently on site, and we are going to work to ensure that we get funds from both the District Assembly Common Fund, and if possible, if it becomes very difficult, then we will go to the Ministry of Finance to get funding to complete the project, because we have already put in a lot of resources.
Please do that. Have you brought this development to the attention of the auditors? The fact that the contractor for phase 2 is back and is working.
Not yet, but we'll do so.
Please let them know with the evidence,
okay,
so that they can adjust their records.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, that will be all for this matter.
Your last issue is about unearned salary. One Joe Akumeni received 2,749.98 Ghana cedis. Emmanuel Ofosu also received 3,432.37, and Edmond Sapon Boatin 1,416.21. The total 7,598.56 Ghana cedis. We are to recover the money from these three staff who have retired. Have you been able to recover the money?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do. We have recovered the money after a series of correspondences between us and then, the former officers. And even though it was recovered late, and so we haven't been able to update auditors, but we have brought the pay-in slips here, no, the BOG pay-in slips here, where the money was paid into. Thank you, Chair.
So can you give it to auditors to verify? Then that will bring us to the end of the issues of the Youth, National Youth Authority, and that of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So I want to thank the Minister and the other staff who accompany him to be here for coming. You are discharged.
Thank you so much, Chairman.
Honorable members, we are expecting Ministry of Education to come tomorrow, Ministry of Agric, and the Ministry of the Interior. So, and then Judicial Service, and that's all. We hope to finish tomorrow. So on that note, the committee sitting is adjourned to tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the forenoon.